After not seeing Jon for over a month, he finally showed up, but not to check on me or talk things through. He didn't ask if I was okay, he didn't ask how I was feeling. Instead, he just handed me a divorce lawyer's business card. No emotion, no explanation. Divorcing a wife who doesn't work, pay me $1,000 a month in alimony. Sounds good, take care, Jon said with a laugh, like it was just a joke. Emily stood beside him, her arm wrapped around his like they were a couple already. She had the same smug look on her face. I looked at both of them, and even though my heart was breaking, I kept my voice steady. Fine, let's divorce then. Jon raised his eyebrows like he hadn't expected me to agree so easily, but that surprise quickly melted into a smile when he shared with Emily like this was all some big win for them. What they didn't know was that I wasn't broken. I was just getting started. Jon was never the brightest guy, and that would work in my favor. If he had even an ounce of foresight, he might have noticed the storm brewing inside me, but he didn't, and that would make everything I had planned so much easier. Once the divorce was finalized, I got to work, not just on rebuilding my life, but on planning my revenge. I didn't want to hurt them just to hurt them. I wanted them to feel the same pain they caused me. I wanted to make them cry, not from joy, but from regret, and when they did, I would be smiling. My name is Sarah Wolf. I'm 47 years old. I'm an illustrator and a children's book author. I love to draw. It's always been my safe space. Growing up, I had two best friends, Jon and Emily. They were everything to me. We had years of memories together, laughter, late-night chats, silly fights. I truly believed those friendships would last forever. Jon eventually became my husband. That still sounds strange to say out loud sometimes. He wasn't the one I expected to end up with. After high school, as I was getting ready to leave for college, Jon suddenly confessed his feelings. I was shocked. I thought he liked Emily, but when he told me he liked me, something in me melted. I had always liked him secretly, so I told Emily about it and asked her what she thought. She told me to go for it. So I did. Jon and I got married when we were 25. Emily stayed close to us, and over the years, she even introduced us to her fiancé, George, a kind, hard-working man who had a good job at a top-tier company. George was warm and respectful. He treated me like family, and Jon liked him right away. We would all get together during holidays, take little vacations, go on train trips. It felt like we were a little team. But then everything started changing when Emily got pregnant. Jon and I had already decided not to have kids. We both loved our freedom. We enjoyed drinks, travel, and quiet nights. We had enough nieces and nephews to feel surrounded by children, so we felt no pressure to become parents ourselves. At least, that's what I thought. But after Emily's pregnancy, Jon became different. He quit smoking because Emily said it made her feel sick. He started driving her to doctor's appointments using his vacation time. He even helped her decorate the baby's room. I pulled him aside one day. Hey, don't you think you're crossing a line? George might not like this. Jon didn't back down. He got defensive. You're heartless. She's our friend, and she needs help. I've helped too, I reminded him. I've bought her baby supplies. I've checked in with her, but going to her prenatal checkups like you're the father, that's not right. His eyes narrowed. Jealous much? It's not like you're getting pregnant anytime soon. That hurt more than I expected. After that, our fight started. We never used to argue before, but now it felt like every day was a battle. And when Emma, Emily's daughter, was born, things only got worse. Jon started spending even more time with Emily. He helped take care of Emma like she was his own child. He'd go over to their house all the time. I tried to stay calm, to trust him, but it was getting harder to ignore the signs. Then came the day before Emma's kindergarten graduation. I walked into the room to find Jon throwing his suits all over the bed, like he was trying to pick the perfect one. What are you doing? I asked. Got a meeting tomorrow, he said casually. You always have a suit ready for that, why the fuss now? He hesitated for a second. It's for Emma's graduation. I'm going. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Why would you go? You're not her father. George can't make it, and Emily asked me. Jon, this isn't just picking her up from school. This is a big moment in her life. It should be her parents there, not you. He glared at me like I was the one doing something wrong. What, you still don't trust me and Emily? I'm just helping. That night, I called Emily. She picked up casually. Hey, What's up? Emily, about tomorrow, are you sure George is okay with Jon going to the graduation? Oh, he doesn't know it's tomorrow. I'll tell him afterward. I felt the floor shift under me. You didn't tell him, Emily, that's not fair to him. You're so serious, Sarah, relax. Anyway, see you tomorrow. She hung up before I could say another word. I was shaking with anger, but the next morning, I still ironed Jon's shirt, tied his tie, and sent him off like everything was normal. Things only got worse from there. Jon and Emily started meeting more and more, first once a month, then once a week, then several times a week. I tried not to spiral, but the truth was in front of me. Then, one night, while they were out again, George showed up at my house. I'm sorry to come by so late, he said quietly, but I needed to talk to you. Is it about Jon and Emily? He nodded. I think something's going on. I put a GPS in Emily's car. She's been going to a hotel 3 times a week, and always on the nights she's with Jon. He didn't need to say more. I already knew. I had known for a while. What do you want to do? I asked him. I want to get back at them. I looked at him, calm and steady. So do I. That's when we began, quietly, carefully, with every ounce of pain they gave us, we started to build a plan. A plan to make them regret ever betraying us. And this time, I wouldn't be the one left behind. After the hospital transfer was complete and George and Emma had settled into their new place, things finally started to quiet down, until I got a call from Jon. I had only stepped away from my phone for a few minutes, but when I returned, I saw 30 missed calls. 30. I sighed and picked up the phone. What is it? I asked, already tired. What the hell is going on? I could hear noise in the background, someone talking urgently, probably a real estate agent. Then I heard Emily yelling too. It made me feel sick. What do you mean what's going on? Jon snapped. It's about the house. Why are we being kicked out? I rolled my eyes. Because it's my house. Huh? Jon sounded genuinely confused. He had clearly forgotten. The truth was, that place wasn't our house. It was a room I had rented when I first started working as a freelancer. At the time, I didn't have enough income to pay for 2 homes, and Jon couldn't afford to live alone, so he ended up moving into my place. He never paid rent. He never paid the utility bills either. Sure, he gave me a little for groceries now and then, but it wasn't nearly enough to cover everything. And after I filed for divorce, I canceled the lease. The apartment was far from my new hospital anyway. I didn't tell him directly. I figured the real estate agent, who knew about our situation, would handle it. Then Jon yelled. George and Emma disappeared, and the house is gone. What are we supposed to do now? I didn't even look up from my work. I don't know. Maybe stay at a business hotel for a while. Don't mess with me. But then his voice changed, softer, like he was trying to charm me. Anyway, when are you going to send us the money? We're low on cash. What? You know, the $11,000. I told you. I paused. I don't remember agreeing to that. That's when he lost it. He started screaming incoherently. I could tell he thought I was just going to hand over the money, like I owed it to him, like it was normal. He kept yelling, but I was done listening. There's nothing to talk about, Jon, I said calmly. He was stunned for a second, then started shouting again. I forced myself to smile and spoke cheerfully. We're strangers now, so please don't contact me anymore. My lawyer will be in touch. Lawyer? Wait. I hung up before he could finish. He tried calling again, and again. I didn't answer. Eventually, the calls stopped. But then he started ignoring calls from my lawyer, too. He was being childish, refusing to cooperate. I had always known Jon could be selfish, but I didn't realize how far he would go just to avoid responsibility. I sighed. A few months later, after I was temporarily discharged from the hospital, I visited Jon's parents' house. Jon and Emily were there. They looked nervous, like scared little kids. Jon frowned. Telling my parents about the divorce? That was a low blow. I just let them know we got divorced, I said plainly. Jon tried to glare at me, but his dad was sitting right there, staring him down. Jon backed off quickly. The truth was, I had always had a great relationship with my in-laws. Even when Jon wasn't home, I'd go visit them. They treated me like a daughter, so I thought they had the right to know what really happened. Is it true? I asked. Are you remarrying Emily? Yes, Jon said proudly. Emily, Emma, and I are starting over as a family. What are you talking about? I asked. Your only family is Sarah. She's not my family anymore, Jon snapped. His dad looked disgusted. Jon handed me a piece of paper, a hotel bill. What's this? The cost of the hotel we stayed at. You should cover it. Then suddenly, Jon's mom lost it. I didn't raise you like this, she cried, clearly furious. Jon and Emily were both shocked. Why are you acting like this? Emily asked. We're getting married. You're going to have a grandchild. You should be happy. You too. Jon's mom looked at me like she couldn't believe what was happening. I knew she wasn't happy about this. She had always treated me with love, even though she knew I didn't want children. Emily had always been treated more like a guest than family, and now she expected everything to just change. You want Emma, don't you? Emily said. She'll be your grandchild now. Oh, I said coldly, but isn't half of her blood from Jon? Emily looked confused, still not getting it. She had no remorse, no understanding of what she had done. It gave me chills. And then, from the corner of the room, a voice spoke up. Enough already, it's disgusting. It was Emma. She had been sitting there quietly, playing on her phone. She didn't even look up. My dad is the only one I consider a parent. Blood doesn't matter, he's my dad. Emily tried to argue, but Jon went to all your school events. Emma cut her off. He was only told about those events after they happened, and eventually, not at all, but Dad never stopped calling me his daughter, so I'm his daughter, and I'll never be yours. She got up and walked over to sit beside me. She looked up at me with worried eyes. I thought you might hate me, but Dad said you didn't, so I came. Emma. I love you. You came to visit me every day in the hospital. That meant so much to me. Tears welled up in Emma's eyes and she hugged me tight. Yes, Emma might be the result of Jon and Emily's affair, but I raised her, I loved her, nothing would ever change that. Then I turned to Emily. By the way, weren't you curious why I wasn't surprised when I found out Emma was Jon's daughter? Emily looked startled. Before she could respond, someone else walked in. It was George. We've known for 10 years, he said simply. Emily looked like she had been slapped. Oh, and by the way, George added, you're not divorced yet, the papers were never finalized, they're still here. So not only had Emily assumed she was free to remarry, but she had never even checked the paperwork. That means Emily is still my wife, and Emma is still my daughter. Emily tried to argue again. Emma wants to be with me, right? But Emma just held my hand and looked away from her. Emily was speechless. Jon started laughing. So what, you two are together now? Good luck living on George's salary. I rolled my eyes. Actually, George makes twice as much as you think. Yeah, right, Jon scoffed. And you can't work, you'll just die alone somewhere. This time, I laughed. You really don't know anything, do you? What's so funny? My annual income is $500,000. What? Jon's jaw dropped. Emily just stared. Over the past 10 years, I had become a successful children's author. My books were selling worldwide. I got interview offers, essay deals, and even had a movie adaptation in the works. Liar. I pulled out my phone. Want to see my bank account? They both went silent. Then, out of nowhere, Emily said, Sarah, maybe we should make up. I blinked. What? She glared at Jon, clearly mad he was now chasing me for money. I stood up. Get married if you want, but I will be taking you to court for damages. Sarah, wait. I ignored Jon's desperate voice. I held Emma's hand and walked out. I said goodbye to my in-laws and never looked back. Jon was later fired from his job at his dad's company for lying and skipping work. His father sent him to work on a friend's fishing boat. Jon hated being outside, so it was punishment enough. He kept calling me to complain. I told his dad every time. The calls eventually stopped. Emily lost custody to George and got divorced. She didn't chase after Jon. Her family disowned her. She ended up in a tiny rundown apartment, working part-time jobs just to survive. She had never worked before and didn't know how to do anything. She barely made enough for food and child support. Emma started high school and began preparing to study abroad. She dreams of translating my books for kids around the world, and that makes me so proud. As for me, my books are still doing well. Anime adaptations, merchandise, all of it. My illness is getting better, too. My doctor said I might be able to leave the hospital next year. And George and Emma visit me every day. Recently, George confessed. He said he wants to get married again, this time to me. I haven't said yes yet, but my heart is leaning toward him. He wants us to live together when I'm discharged. While I think about what to say, I keep working on my books, hoping for a peaceful, happy future for all of us. And today, just like every day, I sit down and write my stories.